Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Rams' extremely impressive 30-13 victory on the road against not only divisional opponent, but a playoff team in the Seattle Seahawks. Although they put up 426 points on offense, here's the important statistic to know. They had the second highest graded pass blocking offensive line by PFF in week 1, outside of however tonight's Monday Night Football game went. That's extremely important. We saw Matthew Stafford, 24 of 38, 334 yards. He absolutely torched the Seahawks defense. Absolutely torched them. But that offensive line is extremely important as Matthew Stafford is coming off an injury-riddled season where they just essentially shut him down and were like, all right, we're going to go for next season, right? The league was reminded very, very quickly how good Matthew Stafford is. I think a lot of people kind of forgot in this past season when the Rams only won, 5 games? I think a lot of people forgot about Matthew Stafford's entire career with the Detroit Lions. I mean, outside of Calvin Johnson, who he didn't even have his entire career, there wasn't much there. There were not that many great receivers on the Detroit Lions teams led by Matthew Stafford, and he still was an excellent quarterback. So in tonight's video, we're going to talk a little bit more about that Rams victory. But before we do, guys, if you enjoy and you like daily NFL content, along with a couple of Rams videos every single week, you've come to the right place. I do post at least 2 or 3 Rams videos every single week. So if you try and get this video to 500 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So we'll talk about this defense in just a second because they gave up only 112 passing yards to comeback player of the year in Geno Smith. 112 passing yards. The Seattle Seahawks gave up, or only had 1 first down in the second half. The Rams defense gave up 1 first down in the entire second half, and their offense scored on every single possession. They outscored Seattle in the second half 23-0. Now, I know, we talked about it on this channel all summer. The Rams are a really good team. If Matthew Stafford stays healthy and the offensive line got better, which it did, and the offensive line stays upright, Cooper Kupp stays upright, Aaron Donald stays upright, Ernest Jones stays upright, if those core players are healthy, the Los Angeles Rams are going to be above 500 team. Now, I will admit, Seattle, especially week 1, the Rams offense only put up 7 points in the first half. It takes teams time to click in week 1. And we saw that with this Rams offense in the first half. Second half, like we just mentioned, they scored on every single possession. Matthew Stafford didn't even need to throw a passing touchdown because once they got into the red zone, they just ran the ball right up Seattle's throat. Kyren Williams, incredible game, 15 carries, 52 yards, 3.5 yards per carry. Don't let that fool you. Matthew Stafford was slinging, and then once they got to the red zone, it was just run time, baby. 2 touchdowns. Cam Akers also had a touchdown. He only had 29 rushing yards, averaging 1.3 yards per carry, but we're not all that worried about it. One big thing outside of the offensive line, Tutu and Puka, the 2 young wide receivers. Tutu Atwell, 6 catches, 119 yards. Rookie Puka in his first ever NFL game, 10 catches, 119 yards. Don't forget about Tyler Higbee's 3 catches for 50 yards. Van Jefferson's 4 catches for 24 yards. There's a common misconception going across the league with this Rams wide receiver room. Everybody thought, no Coop? No, you got no Cooper Kupp? You're effed. That's not the case, man. Tutu Atwell was drafted 1 year ago in the 2nd round for a very specific reason. And as we said, 2 seasons ago, technically. As we've said all summer, don't look into the Rams offense. We can look at Tutu's rookie season and be like, he only caught 18 balls for 300 yards. That sucks. But then when you look into it, the Rams were riddled with injuries on both sides of the ball, but specifically the offensive line, specifically Matthew Stafford, and pretty much it felt like everybody was injured at some point in the season, including Tutu. So he's healthy. The offense line is healthy. Matthew Stafford is healthy. People forgot about Tutu. People didn't forget about Puka. Nobody really, outside of Rams fans, nobody knew who Puka was. So I think if we learned one thing, Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, healthy offensive line, it doesn't even matter who his receiving weapons are. But with that being said, he has perfectly fine receiving weapons. So let's get into the defense. All summer, every analyst, every NFL media member was saying, man, the Rams defense, it's either going to be the worst defense, the second worst defense, or the third worst defense. And we're sitting here and we're thinking to ourselves, wait, did Aaron Donald retire? Oh, he didn't. Aaron Donald didn't retire. Oh, okay. Is Ernest Jones, did he leave the Rams? Oh, he didn't either. All right, so I don't think they'll be a worse than top 30 defense in the National Football League. They have a young, they have a hungry, they have an athletic, and more importantly, they've got a cheap defense. This Rams team, what a lot of people didn't realize last season, this past offseason, the last year or so, they've been unloading all that dead cap weight from that Super Bowl run. Watch out. I know it was the first game of the season. We're quite a long way away from the offseason. Watch out for the Rams this upcoming offseason, by the way. All right, so speaking of the defense, I really like guys like Kobe Turner on this squad. I really like, obviously Ernest Jones. I think he's a young, rising star linebacker in the National Football League. I like guys like Jordan Fuller. But they focused so much on the draft and free agency on the defensive side. What a lot of people don't understand is, and guys, by the way, Seattle had a bad offensive game. You're going to play teams. The Rams are going to play great offensive teams, and that defense will probably crumble at times. It's not going to be 30-13 victories for the entire season. If they do, well, the Rams are a very great Super Bowl choice. But you're going to play some high-powered offenses that are going to expose some weaknesses. The good news is, with your high-scoring, high-powered, elite-level offense, you're going to be able to put up wins, right? What I'm focused on for this Rams defense is, by the way, their defensive line yesterday looked phenomenal. It looked phenomenal. I'm looking at this young secondary, and I'm thinking to myself, if they can just improve week to week, by the end of the season, why not? Why won't the Rams defense be good? I really don't see why not. These are talented NFL football players in the NFL. Why not? Why can't the Rams have an average defense this upcoming season? Because let me tell you this. If the Rams have an average defense, by average I mean statistically they are the 16th ranked defense, and Matthew Stafford's healthy, and Cooper Kupp's healthy, and your offensive line stays healthy, well, even with San Francisco, even with Seattle, we're looking at 10 plus wins. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. I don't want to overreact. I just want to make the point stand. If you make the playoffs, you have as good of a chance as anybody. And Matthew Stafford in the playoffs, as we saw 2 years ago, watch the F out. So, yeah, it was one game. It was one very impressive win, in my opinion. Nobody really saw that kind of domination coming, especially against Seattle on the road. One game at a time. That game next week against San Francisco is going to be must watch. We're going to learn a lot more about this Rams team. But guys, that's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. If you guys want more Rams videos, let me know down below. But guys, give me any thought, any opinion you had on that Rams victory over Seattle down below. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.